Welcome to the Get Published podcast, sponsored by Brodie Consulting Group. To get more information about our coaching, publishing, executive ghostwriting, and podcast production services, go to getpublishedpodcast.com. Welcome to the Get Published podcast. My name is Paul Brodie, and I'm proud to serve as your host. And today we are concluding our final solo cast episode of this current run, because next week we are back to doing our guest interviews. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about today was to wrap up what we have covered the last 2 weeks about Virtual Summit. So I've talked about the Get Published Summit, the 2021 edition. It was massively successful. We had over $14,000 in revenue from Premium Pass sales. We added over 3,400 new email subscribers. And we were able to have a great live webinar that Ray and I did, that we had roughly 200 attendees that registered. And the people that didn't make it, they were able to catch the replay. And it really was amazing. It's the biggest webinar we've ever hosted. It was an incredible opportunity to be able to connect with the audience from the summit, and also with talking about how virtual summits can truly be a life changer for your author brand. And it really comes down to four main things. And I alluded to this at the end of Tuesday's episode when I talked about how you can build your list at warp speed. Well, this is how quickly it can happen. We added 3,400, so 3,400 subscribers in roughly a 2-week period. Because what happens is your speakers, they start to promote the event before the summit. And there's a couple of reasons with that. One is that with promoting it, we do a profit share with the speakers. So the speakers get 50% of the Premium Pass sales, and then we get the other 50%. And the incentive is to promote it to their list the week before so people can register. And if they want, they are then given an opportunity to grab a special offer for like a 15-minute offer where they can grab the Premium Pass for $67. Well, that might not sound like a big way to generate revenue, but when you magnify $67 by 201 Premium Passes, that adds up pretty quick. And that number added up to over $14,000. And what happened was we had 28 speakers, actually 29 overall. And of that group, we had 26 of them promoted. And that was huge, whether that was on their email list, whether that's social media. But that generated a lot of buzz. It generated a lot of traffic. And then it generated a lot of attendees. And that's really what broke down the metrics. So we were able to generate $14,000 in revenue. We were able to add 3,400 subscribers. So 3,400 subscribers within 2 weeks, which is incredible. And they're all engaged. They're people that have taken part in the event, which is just huge. So you're able to build your email list quickly, and you don't even have to have a list to start. Because what happens is, and I alluded to this in our previous episode about that Tom Sawyer effect, where he had to paint the fence. But what happened was the other people were doing the painting, right? They were painting for the privilege, if you're familiar with the story. And that's exactly what happened here. Was the speakers promoted it. You know, I was there to encourage the speakers, and I had a little competition called the GPS Cup, where I bought real nice trophy. And what happened was we had it for bragging rights, and whoever had the most sales won the GPS Cup. And the person who won 25 Premium Passes to 24 Premium Passes for second place. So it was a pretty heated competition, because everyone wanted those bragging rights. So you're able to build your email list quickly. You can generate revenue with the Premium Pass sales. And, you know, the numbers we did, they were record breakers. We'd never had $14,000 generated in a summit. We've had $12,000, but we've never hit $14,000. It's almost like the 4-minute mile. It's that elusive goal, but we were able to hit it. And it was with a lot of hard work and with a lot of engagement. But it just shows that you can build your email list quickly. You can generate revenue with the sales. You can build relationships with influencers. And that's what happened. Our first summit, we started with 18 to 20. For this one, we ended up with 29 amazing speakers, 31 sessions overall when we were able to have a opening session and a closing session that I did. And it really was great value for our attendees. And then the thing is, we're able to sell the core offer while your influence is at a peak as the summit wraps up. And it was twofold. One, in closing session, I invited people to do a complimentary strategy session with me to talk about their book. If they want to talk about it, and then we have that conversation. If it's a fit, if they need more help, great, let's look into that. But if not, we just had a great conversation. And that's really the main thing, just emphasizing, just talk about the book. If it's a fit, great. And if not, it's all good. And that approach really does work because it shows that you care, you want to connect, and it's the truth. And it's just a great opportunity. The other thing that we did with the core offer was our virtual summit service that I had with Ray Brem. So we did our live webinar together, and then at the end of it, we invite people to set up strategy sessions with us, and it was a record. We literally ran out of spots where we had to create new days and new time slots because so many people booked, which is incredible. But the great thing is we're able to have those conversations to see about their summits and, quite frankly, if it's the right fit. And it's the same thing with publishing. When we're talking to clients, we want to know if it's a fit. And if the book's not going to be sellable, I'm going to say it because I don't want to waste anyone's time. I want to make sure that they understand we're not here just to take your money. We're here to make this a win-win. And that's the same thing with virtual summits. If it's the right fit, then we do want to pursue potentially helping them if they need the help. And we find that most of the time they do. And it's just a great opportunity. So selling that core offer while your influence is at a peak makes all the difference. And there's not many people that are really leveraging summits like we've been able to and to help our clients. So you get that peak to the Friday, you have your closing session. And then with that one, I talked about the publishing offer where they could do a complimentary strategy session. I also gave 20% off our services to anyone that booked. And that was a great incentive as well. And then on Saturday, every attendee received an invitation to attend our live webinar on Tuesday, and 200 plus people registered, and it was incredible. And the great thing is now if they missed it, they can watch the replay through Sunday. And if you want to see the replay, you can just go to the virtualsummitsystem.com/GPS21 or just go to the virtualsummitsystem.com. We've got the replay video on there as well, where you can actually check out that training. And you'll see in there, it is great content for an hour. And then at the end, it's just a simple invitation. If you'd like to set up a call with us, great. Oh, and by the way, we do have a couple of things that we are offering, and that's it. We're not talking instead of steak knives or anything. We had an offer where we included Evergreen, and then also an offer where we had our bestseller book launch included. So it really was literally the irresistible offer because we wanted to give as much value to those Get Published Summit attendees. So that's really what it breaks down to. You build your email list quickly and at warp speed because it can take years, if not decades, to build a list. We just added 3,400 subscribers in 2 weeks. Building relationships with influencers. In my opinion, this is the greatest benefit because you're able to build relationships, friendships, and quite frankly, long-term business partnerships. And that's exactly what has happened with me with summits and what we've seen with our clients as well. And the great thing is, with this summit, I reached out to, it was like 6 to 8 people at the beginning, to people with relationships with, and I just said, hey, we're going to be doing the 2021 Get Published Summit. Would love to have you take part. Here's the book and link. Let me know if you're interested. Within 1 hour, 6 people already booked. 6 people in an hour. Because that is the advantage of being able to build these relationships with influencers, being able to connect, and being able to build those relationships. Because having a book is great. And when you reach out to other authors, sometimes you get a response, sometimes you won't. When you have a podcast, you definitely get more responses. But when you have a virtual summit, then that really takes things to the next level because you don't get a no, and you also pretty much have everyone show up. My first summit, I had a 94% show up rate. For this summit, 100% show up rate. Everybody made it. And the thing is, even with the podcast, typically we have a 66% show up rate with our guests, which is incredible. If you do your research and see most podcasts, they're lucky to get 50%. we get 66%. But with the summit interviews, we had 100%. Again, 100% of those guests that showed up for those interviews. So it's just a great opportunity to really take your business to the next level. So I just want to touch on that for this episode. Next week, we'll be back to our regular format with having our guest interviews. And again, if you want to get more information, you can go to the virtualsummitsystem.com. You can check out the evergreen webinar at this point, because it will be evergreen, the replay, until Sunday. And as always, I wish you all the best in your author journey ahead. Thanks again for joining us today. To learn more about how to get your book published with a proven system that works, grab a free copy of my book at getpublishedpodcast.com.